Hello and welcome to Back of the Net, whether you're listening via the audio pod or you're watching on YouTube. Hello, welcome. We're all smiles, as you can see. We're recording in a different location, but that's because we've got our star man with us here today. Tom Jordan, how are you, mate?
Thank you, mate. I thought that might come, but no, we have got the star, Neil Dawson, with us as well, so welcome, Neil.
I'm the star.
Yeah, of course.
Good to be back, good to be back.
How are you, Neil? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Buzzing,
What
absolutely
weekend?
buzzing. Yeah, I don't think I've stopped watching that goal.
How many times? How many different angles?
I reckon I've watched it 50 at least.
I think I said in one of our group chats, I said, I think I've watched that goal more than all of our goals this season combined. I've just watched that one goal.
I've watched it with the World Feed commentary, the Gary Taphouse. I've watched the Chris Temple commentary where Warren Cummings says yes.
Yeah.
I've watched all sorts of different vlogs, different angles. I've watched watch-alongs on YouTube where there's a compilation of different fans reacting. Beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that's why we go to football, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we wait for, and you go to a lot of rubbish, but them moments make it all worthwhile, don't they? Obviously, we'll come on to it, but yeah, the way you win a football match, that's perfect. If you could just write it, it's just absolutely perfect, because you think you've thrown it all away, and then you go on and win it like that, literally, virtually the last kick of the game, wasn't it? So, yeah, it was amazing, mate. And it's a good one from the Tottenham end as well, where you can just see a whole sea of red just getting lovely. And a good away end anyway through the game, so it was great.
And a whole sea of white stand up. There's that wonderful angle where someone's shot a fan cam from above the dugouts, and you see our end go ballistic, and then everyone else just get up and walk out. It's that's why we go, though, isn't it? For those I was there moments.
I didn't expect us to be winning, I must admit. I think on my prediction I said 2-1 to Spurs. You were feeling optimistic throughout the day. Got to do a shout out to Adam Hensman, Steve's son, who on a video, this did happen. He predicted 3-2 that morning.
He did indeed.
To Bournemouth, of course. So Adam, well done for that, my friend. But yeah, 2 wins in a row. Our first ever win at Tottenham. And Neil, we think it's the largest ever crowd to witness an AFC Bournemouth win.
Yeah, I saw that, and we were just talking about it, weren't we? We were going through all the grounds that we've played at, and we've never won at Anfield, we've not won at Old Trafford. So, so if you come down the list, I know Tottenham's is bigger than Arsenal, isn't it? Because they built it to be 1,000 bigger than Arsenal on purpose. Of course it did. So yeah, and we didn't win at Wembley, and when we were at the Millennium, there was not
about
35,000 in. So yeah, that is the most people that have watched Bournemouth win, and the most that have been pissed off that we won as well.
Yeah, exactly. What scene. So 4% chance of relegation for AFC Bournemouth now. 6 points above the drop zone. The table is looking good. If you're watching on YouTube there, you can see it on the screen. But yeah, we're in a pretty good position, Tom. And to be honest, can't really see us going down now.
Yeah, I mean, when we lose the next 3, ridiculous. We know how the season's gone, but no, it would take a bit of a car crash of a run to go down 14th, now, I would have thought. 14th. Yeah, I would have thought so. And that was probably because that was one of the ones, a lot of people, pundits stuff were going, well, Bournemouth will lose that away at Tottenham. So it was, I think looking at Fulham, obviously it was at home, at Fulham home, Leicester away, Tottenham away, no one would have said 9. So massive, and obviously teams in and around us, particularly ones obviously below us, and Forest, Leicester, and obviously Saints a whole 10 points below us. They don't look good enough either. No. We don't look like we're going to lose every week, and they don't look like they're going to catch us and get enough ground, to be honest. So
I mean, it went largely for us. Results largely.
Yeah, because when I saw like Wolves and Palace, obviously Palace beat Southampton, but Wolves, they're fine. They'll be all right. So yeah.
And even when you look at teams like Leicester, because when we went there, you think they haven't got a win in them. No. But then when you look at their fixtures, they're quite tough. And then you look at even the winnable one is Everton at home. So you think, well, if they win that, that sticks Everton back in it, because Everton also aren't looking too clever after having a bit of a bounce. So I just think I think one more win without tempting fate, and I would say that's home and hosed.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Superb. So this is what it means for the baseline tracker table. So this is the table where you should be getting points. And as we won at Spurs, we weren't expected to. We gained 3 points on that. So we're actually where we're supposed to be. You can see the teams there down the bottom. In amongst them, of course, Southampton, Forest, Leicester. At this stage, Neil, would you want to be making a call on who you think might be going down?
I think it's that 3.
Saints' form's abysmal.
I think it's the 3 that are there. That's just not a lazy prediction because they're there. But if you just look at the other people's fixtures, I still think Sean Dyche will know enough to grind out a couple of results for Everton. I think they'll probably go to Leicester and win.
Yeah.
So I can't see beyond those three, to be honest.
I actually think it's going to be, we're going to play a massive part, because I've got a feeling that it might be between two teams to go with Southampton and Forest on the last day.
Yeah.
I think it could be Leicester and Everton, and we go to Everton. And I actually think, because we won't have anything to play for, they could get something, obviously, home to us, and they might be all right. But yeah, I agree with what Neil said. I think the Deutsch factor helps them a lot. I think they'll just get over the line. Because Leicester look awful, Forest do as well. And what's Southampton on that base tracker? Can you just let me know what they are?
-10.
-10, or we better put something in a bucket for them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I tell you what, I can't wait. I can't wait for Saints away. Hopefully, we'll put in a good performance. And look, let's talk about the Spurs game. We saw the team lineups at 2, and it looked like 3 at the back.
Yeah, it did look that way. Obviously, Gary kind of mentioned that he felt it was the way to go because of Smith's yellow card issue as well.
Yeah.
And he felt that he wanted to go to a 5 in this game anyway, so thought it was a good opportunity to do that. And he seemed to say that, Vina's been, it looks like he's ready now. It's taken him a while, so it made sense to leave Smithy out of this one. I was a little bit surprised, obviously, Tav on the right-hand side, and I was frustrated that we were just matching the marks. I thought, oh no, here we go again. But yeah, we implemented it a lot better than we have in the past. I don't think it's our best system, but if you're going to play that system, I think Vina's probably a bit more natural in there, so that helped, because I think he looks like a type of wing-back, really, and obviously come off injured, but his stats showed how good he was. His successful dribbles and stuff were really good. I thought he was really good for the time he was on the pitch. But yeah, apart from that, I thought Christy would play. Good to see Tav back in the starting lineup, and I think theirs was pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So that didn't surprise me at all, the way they set up. So yeah, we obviously went to kind of match him a little bit more, but I think that was also in the mind of keeping Meps in for his good performance, with Senesi out as well. And yeah, it was kind of didn't. I wouldn't have picked a 3 at the back,
No.
but if you're going to do it in any game, I thought I did think it didn't shock me because of the way Tottenham always line up. So yeah, it is what it is.
So yeah, extra 15 minutes drinking time for you, which is good. What did you think of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Is that your first time now?
Yeah, first time there. I thought it was incredible, can't lie. It even from the outside, it's got that sort of like Bayern Munich bowl effect to it, where it doesn't look like a football stadium. And then inside, it's just the height of it, the perspective of it, everything, the viewing points. I thought the atmosphere, the roof they put on, I think the atmosphere. I mean, they're not really going to get up for Bournemouth at home like they would maybe Arsenal or Liverpool, etc. But when they did score, and when they nearly scored a winner right at the end, it felt like a proper ground. So no, I mean, yeah, fantastic football stadium. Can't knock it.
Yeah, it's lovely. And if you're ever going to get a game where you're delayed by 15 minutes, you have to stay in the concourse and have another pint. It's not a bad concourse to do it, is it?
So, with them pints that fill up like that.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's an unbelievable stadium, isn't it? It's an unbelievable stadium.
We're all singing about Southampton in the concourse.
We were, yeah. They're not bothered about it, though.
No,
they haven't mentioned that at all.
No, they haven't mentioned it.
Because they don't care.
One-way rivalry? No, of course it's not. They do care about us. Okay, so the game kicked off, and they scored fairly early, actually, didn't they?
Yeah, what minute was it? Have you got the minute? I can't even remember. It felt, because I felt like we started quite well.
I did.
Yeah.
14th minute.
Was it 14th minute? Yeah, I felt like we started well, and it felt like, typical, like we've done all right here.
Yeah.
I did think that, but it was that goal that I feel like, I don't know if it's true or not, it feels like how many goals we consider just like the cutback, and someone's there every time. So, yeah, it felt like it was a little bit against the run of play, I thought.
Well, I was shocked because their manager on Match of the Day said we started the game really well and then we scored.
Yeah.
And then he said, and then we let Bournemouth have a spell. But I think they had a couple of attacks in the first 5 minutes, but after that it was us penning them back, and we had lots of possession. And so I think when he said that, I didn't really understand it. I thought the goal came against the run of play.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I thought we started pretty well. So yeah, that was a bit of a blow, and then I thought, now we're going to struggle because we're in that setup. And how are we going to get out? When are we going to choose to maybe change something? But we kept going. To be fair, it didn't look like it really knocked us too much.
No, it didn't.
I thought that might knock the stuffing out of us, but I just felt we continued that half really well.
Perisic with the run, and he cut it back. Son, almost a scuff finish, but it took a touch, actually.
Did it?
Which I think probably, had that touch not happened, Neto might have actually maybe gathered it, perhaps. But either way, we didn't sort of let that affect us, because I thought for the second half of the first half, we were brilliant, Neil.
Excellent.
I thought we were really good.
It reminded me of the second half of the first half, so it's easy to say. Second half of the first half against Leicester. It was exactly like that, where we had them penned back, we were playing all the football, the crowd were getting a bit irritated, their crowd were getting a bit irritated that they couldn't get out. Yeah. And other than that ball that worked for the goal, which is always a danger when you play 3 at the back, you stick it into that corridor of uncertainty between the centre-back and the full-back. Other than that, because they played that to Son a few times, and he cuts in, and of course, because he can go on either foot.
His feet so quick. You know
So
that I
quick,
think Chris Mepham he was up against, and that was the save that Neto made, and Chris Mepham didn't know which way to go.
Well, you just don't know because he can shoot so well on left and
So
right.
good.
He's a defender's nightmare because you can't show him onto his weak foot. So, other than that, I wasn't worried. That I thought if they were ever going to score again, it would be through him going into a channel and hitting one.
Yeah.
But no, I thought we were excellent.
Yeah, and it was the same as, like you said, that second half, the first half at Leicester, where it's just in their moments you just think, can we just take our chance?
Yeah.
Because we've got them here, and it looked like it was gonna, we were gonna get to half time and not have taken our chance. So it was good that we obviously eventually did.
Did Tom just say in their moments?
You did.
Yeah.
Has everyone got the cardigan? You got a cardigan?
It's fine margins in football, boys. Fine margins.
He's Tom Parker.
I'll tell you what, Rothwell impressed me, and only 2 minutes later, I think he spread it outside of his right boot, put Vina in. Who then I think it then fell to Christie. He just played Christie in, and just over the bar. But that was a sign of things to come, wasn't it? But that was so good. Rothwell's growing into his shirt, isn't he?
Yeah, well, everyone's kind of mentioned that, how he's just going about his job really, really well. Not he's not bagging in goals or something, but the balance looks better. And I feel for Lewis, because I don't want it to be like a criticism of Lewis Cook, but I do feel we look better without Lewis. And Lewis was one of technically our best players, you would say. But there just feels like there's more of a balance with them three. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I've said this about Lewis before. I don't know if sometimes I'm not really sure what his role is at times. I'm not sure if he's better sitting in front of the back four, picking the ball up because he can spray good passes. If he wants to be a little bit higher up, so Lerma protects. I'm never really sure. And it always feels like, what's his role? Whereas Rothwell, I just think, is busy, gets about the place. And he always looks progressive with his passing, which I like. He always looks forward.
Rothwell's better in the final third. So I think Lewis Cook is exactly what you say. If Lerma wasn't there and Lewis Cook sat in front of the back four and sprayed it around, he wouldn't offer the protection Lerma does. That's his downside there. But similarly, when Lerma does play, I always thought we had two people too deep, and Rothwell's ability to get around and move the ball a bit seems to work really well. And I mean, he's only really played a couple of games, hasn't he?
And he's and the form's been better with him. But he is a little bit more like, he's not quite, but a little bit more like your old school kind of box to box. He kind of just is happy to do both roles. And like you say, maybe when you got Lerma and Lewis, as much as they're both good players, you just think there's not enough going forward now, because they're both just they both want to sit there. So
a bit Harry Arter-esque, isn't he?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him ping a shot. We haven't seen him thump a shot yet.
No, I'd like to see that.
But he must have goals in him, because he got quite a few for Blackburn.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they were long shots or what, but he reminds me a bit of Harry Arter, the way he gets about the pitch.
Yeah, no, it's been good.
Tavernier had a shot.
Oh, yeah, that's a great shot, wasn't it?
Almost identical to Fulham, where he cut back on his left foot, and it was a good save by the keeper. But then moments later, we do score. And I tell you what, one thing I didn't realise is how quick Vina is. Because I think firstly he intercepts the ball on their right hand side where they're trying to play it out, and then Billing gets a touch, but then Solanke stabs it forward to Vina, and I thought he maybe put too much on it. And if you freeze frame it, you think Lloris is surely going to win that. But over that short amount of distance, 10 metres or whatever it was, he was rapid. And then to have that composure as well, I thought that finish was unbelievable.
And he's not scored for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he not scored for 2 years, and we're watching him on his first game, thinking this guy,
he can finish.
This guy can finish. And I think everyone in Rome's going, "Oh, we ain't seen that before." But
a cultured little ding, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really cultured thing. It was a goal scorer's goal, not a fullback's goal. But yeah, I wondered if Lloris misjudged it. I thought he thought it was coming through to him. Then he went to go for it. Then I thought by that stage it was too late, wasn't it? But what was really clever was the ball. Was it Solanke's ball through to him?
Yeah.
Because Solanke obviously has been getting bits of stick from people, which I think is unjustified. But very clever ball from Solanke.
It was, yeah. Really. And he had a great half, he deserved that, didn't he?
And you saw his average position.
No, it's so high, isn't it?
Unbelievable. We'll take a look at the average positions now. So if you're listening, take a look at YouTube to see that. You can see Spurs, but then here are the Bournemouth ones as well. How high is that? I mean, almost level with Dom.
Well, that's also the difference when you look at that, is because we mentioned about how he's gone to a back five. The way we played in that first half, it was a 3, not a 5.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, because Tav was coming inside when he obviously left footed, so he was
coming
playing. Yeah, and there was but Vina was bombing on so much, he was looking at that space and bombing on really well. So yeah, it was, and that's the only advantage when you do a 3 and Kelly's the left side centre back, because he is good in that role.
Yeah.
And he's happy because he's played left back so many times, played centre back, so he's happy to cover that space and let Vina go. And like you say, Vina's legs helped as well. But he earned that goal because I thought he impressed me a lot. Obviously we don't know how good he is. So I was really, really pleased with how he played. So
and that was our main attacking side. I mean, you can see that everyone is sort of like gravitating towards that left side. Like Tavernier kept coming in.
Well, he would.
Yeah.
Because he was on the wrong foot. So he was the person that suffered from the formations.
Yeah.
He did a job for the team, but we didn't see the best of him.
No.
But I mean, we've had the debate on here about 3 and 5 at the back countless times. There's nothing wrong with it as a formation, as long as you play it with attack-minded players that get high up the pitch, because you've got less defenders, so it is an attacking formation. But when you play it with 2 full-backs, you naturally gravitate backwards and haven't got that ability like Vina and Tavernier have to. I mean, Vina was beating people like a winger. Tavernier, we know, can do that. But if you're playing people like Rico or Kelly or Smith there, they won't go past people like a winger. They'll just chug up and down, won't they? And that's the difference.
And it quickly falls into them being a flat back 5.
Yeah.
It doesn't it? So that was definitely the difference. And maybe it was, like I said, probably was the wing backs that we had available. It was the personnel that they were very attack minded. So it allowed it to be a free, and it was fine.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again with that personnel.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I love the fact you're making yourself well at home here.
We won, mate. I don't care.
Why put your feet? I suppose so. That goal was scored on 37-38. You go down on 38. Did you see it?
I saw it, mate.
Did you?
Yeah,
well
I think
done.
It must have went in on 37 because I saw it.
Yeah, well done to you.
So then I didn't get in till later than normal.
But so did you miss that Ryan Christie yellow card?
Yes, I did.
Did
Seen
you
that
see
back.
that?
Yeah, I saw it. Do not get me started on that.
I haven't seen a replay of that yet.
Drives me. I've seen. If you watch the alternate angle on the club website, you'll see it. It is outrageous.
Yeah.
So, firstly, he was barged into. So there's a question: was it a penalty? I'd have been gutted if that had been given against us. So I accept it's not a penalty. But the lad was, had a full-size guy go into him at full pace, and like anyone, he fell over.
Yeah.
He didn't wave his arms in the air. He didn't appeal. He didn't scream. He just fell over.
Yeah.
And the referee had the card out of his pocket before he'd even hit the ground. If that was Harry Kane, who, with his little attempt to win a penalty in the second half, because it's King Harry, or whatever you want, Harry.
But booked because of it.
Booked.
Crazy.
Booked.
I mean,
I've seen it back. And it almost looks like as well, like Neil said, the ref's got his card out so quickly. It almost looks like Christie's running up to the ref to go, I'm not even claiming, mate.
No.
I'm not claiming for a penalty.
He didn't put his hand up. He didn't even spin round and look at the ref. He just fell over.
Yeah, because he got nudged in the back. Everyone's
madness.
Yeah,
Absolute madness. I don't know whether you can appeal things like that, or whether you just don't bother these days. Just because I don't think Christie's on that many bookings. So
no, it's fun. But like you say, then things can change because then Christie, he's got to worry about his game. He can't make a foul now.
Yeah.
So it could end up, really going against you. Obviously, it didn't matter in the end. But yeah, it was. I didn't see it at the time, but seeing it back.
Harry Kane, that was a penalty.
Oh, every day of the week. Yeah.
If that had been Harry Kane, that would have been a penalty because he was gone into with some force.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, on to the second half, and there's substitution, forced through injury, was it? When Vina and Adam Smith came on.
Yeah.
So what did that do to the formation
well,
then?
Tav switched sides, didn't he? Naturally. So it wasn't
probably better for him.
Yeah, it didn't change too much. Actually, weirdly, as we'll come on to, Tavernier then makes the second goal from that left-hand side. So weirdly kind of worked in that. I mean, to be fair, the way the game was going, 1-0, it was a blow to lose Vina, but I was quite comfortable with Smithy coming on and Tav going over to a bit more of a natural side. It didn't feel like it changed too much. Obviously, the game state changed because we got the goal quickly after. But he obviously, I was just more thinking, don't get a yellow, Smithy. He's now only got to get through one game.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And then he won't get his ban. So hopefully he'll be all right.
Sorry to ask the same question every week, but did you see that goal? Did you see the next one? No.
I'm there at half time. Everyone's coming up to me going,
why go to football?
Did you see the goal? I'm going, I saw the goal. And then I missed the next one.
We noticed you missed it.
Oh, I only just missed it.
You missed it.
Oh, but
51 minutes.
Yeah, that's bad actually.
That's bad.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. But that's because I went down later because of Vina's goal.
Unbelievable.
I was close to going up. I saw I think you can see it on the vlog, I'm kind of walking back as it went in. So, but I've obviously seen it back in that. And that was another one that I thought was actually quite a clever finish from Dom. A clever little poke. Tav gets through really well and just bundles his way through, doesn't he? But chuff for Dom. Absolutely
not too dissimilar to Vina's.
No, not really.
Just a little lift over the keeper. Tavernier did a lot of decent work on the left to create it, and we should give an honourable mention to Davinson Sanchez because obviously he came on and it was his vision to see Solanke and cipher it his way.
Unbelievable.
Spurs fans at the train station afterwards were
Yeah,
incandescent with range.
They didn't think he was going to continue his run, I think, and he thought he was just going to be gathered by Lloris. He thought that little nudge, which I can understand, but great finish.
He literally come on, Sanchez, didn't he? When they were they ahead when he come on?
Yeah.
And then he came on. They went behind. They took him off again.
They took him off again.
I didn't realise that
he was booed on, which I didn't realise either, and cheered off. So and then he was in tears on the bench, which is a shame.
Yeah, I've seen that since, but I think when you're there and you're in the away, you don't really realise all that's going on. I saw afterwards that he was getting didn't really appreciate how much stick. I know that he's not had a very good season. He's not. They don't really trust him there, but that was a shame because he obviously had one of them games. It's very rare when you see someone come on and come back off again, isn't it? But. Yeah.
So an assist for Dom, a goal for Dom,
2 assists for Dom,
and then one later on in the game that we'll come on to, which when you look at the combined goals and assists, he's not doing too bad. He's got 11, more than the likes of Brennan Johnson, McAllister for Brighton, Elise, Trossard, James Ward-Prowse. In that regard, his figures aren't particularly bad, but he has got a lot of criticism because of his lack of finishing recently, but his work rate, it certainly paid off in that game. Yeah,
so we haven't got anyone better. I don't understand. I can understand it if he was keeping someone out the side, because we've seen that before where we've had players not playing and we've moaned about the one that is because we want someone to come in.
Yeah.
There's no one that can do the job he does. He's playing in a team that up until recently didn't create many chances at all. And he's playing up front on his own, and you've got people saying, "Oh, they should play Kiefer Moore, they should play Semenyo." They would not do the job that they. And when Dom was out, we were awful. So I just think if he had all of his attributes and was a natural finisher, he wouldn't be with us.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree. I love Dom, and he's unfortunately when you're the centre forward in a team that when we were struggling really badly, it's going to get. And I think that because we in that spell we're creating so little. Every time he misses one chance, it's highlighted. Yeah. It's highlighted so much more because we're only getting 2 chances a game. So I do feel for him. So I'm really, really pleased with their numbers at the weekend. But I think similarly I've said it about Smithy. People have a go at Smith and I'm going, but Fredericks is out, for example. I haven't seen a lot of Fredericks. You really telling me Jack Stacey's a better defender than Adam Smith? No chance. Yeah. So, when people are saying Smithy's done and stuff, I'm going, we ain't got a better option. Like, if we had a really good right back sat on the bench, I'd go, okay, maybe I could see that point. But I think it's the same with Smithy. I don't think we've got a better right back.
And I don't know if it's a Bournemouth fan thing or whether it's all fans. I don't really pay enough attention to know. But we seem to have this thing about players that are long-standing.
I've said this before.
It's like, I don't know if some fans get bored of them or what it is, but... Yeah, Andrew Sermon suffered with it, didn't he? And
Steve Cook, Francis,
Frano in particular, Dan Gosling, people like that. It's just like we just
get bored.
We get bored of them, and you just think sometimes they play a game and think if that was a debutant, we'd all be saying, "God, did you see when he did that header? Did you see when he did that clearance?" You know. So Vina, let's be honest, Vina scored and he did 2 or 3 great runs, but. He didn't do anything else in the entire game, but because he was a debutant, everyone's going mad about it, and it's great, and let's hope it carries on. But you think, we've all seen, Charlie Daniels and people like that do that
consistently,
week in, week out, and then started moaning about them after a while. So
Smith comes on in the game and doesn't do anything majorly of note. Comes on really solid, does everything fine. And I just say, if that was a new player that come on at right back, everyone would go, "Oh, how good was he when he come on?"
And and it was his vision that created the third goal.
Yeah, the last goal.
Dangoed came on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
about that. I can't really recall what the reception was like. Were there boos from the Bournemouth lot?
There was a few pantomime, but
it wasn't Fraser-esque.
No, and I think he would have got. There was talk that he would have got just as much money, if not more, if he had come to us. We offered him ridiculous wages, but he wanted to go to a bigger club.
He must have a good minutes to goals ratio at Spurs.
Must do actually, yeah.
He scored 2. Not played probably 90 minutes in total yet.
No, he's barely played. That was one of the longest he'd come. What minute did he come on? 58.
Yeah, 58.
Yeah, he's got like 10 minutes at most, hasn't he? So, and I was still a bit worried when he come on because we all know that he's just one of them players that you might not see him for a while, but he's just got something and he can just turn a game and I think that's why
he's a finisher.
Yeah, he's a finisher. I think that's why Tottenham fans are calling for him just to be chucked on. So it made sense that he come on. To be fair.
So Spurs were piling on the pressure. We did make a substitution from Jaden Anthony coming on for Ryan Christie.
Yeah.
And then we made a couple of substitutions a bit later on, which you felt. Well, maybe a little bit negative, and obviously the narrative would be different if the result was different.
Well, I'm going to go Scott Parker. That's the fine margins in football, mate. Because, but at the end of the day,
them's the fine margins.
At the end of the day, he brings on Celesi for billing, which no one spoke about because we won the game, so rightly so. But obviously they get a goal after that. If we don't score, that or Richarlison that will come on to misses a really big chance. if they end up taking them chances and we don't score our last one, everyone is saying Gary Neal's done it again. He's brought on a defender for an attacking midfielder and we've thrown it away.
So should we not just judge on the results then?
Well, that's what you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to.
I think if you're going to be fair to him, they finished with Richarlison, Danjuma, Kane, Son and Perisic as a front five.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be one of the most fearsome front fives we've ever faced in our 120-year history.
Was Kulusevski still up as well?
He could well have been.
He did
So I think any manager worth their salt would have thought, I've got to put defenders against these people because otherwise, but like you say, these things become, and it was fine margins right at the end. But I didn't blame when I saw them keep bringing those level of attackers on. I thought he's got to bring people on that can mark.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's right.
I think it's a difference as well. I think we know Senesi hasn't done anything. He had a slight injury last game, so he stuck with, because Mepham came in and done well. But Senesi hasn't really, he's been good lately. So also you bring on Senesi, and I trust Senesi. So it wasn't, so it was absolutely fine. But it's just funny, isn't it, how the narrative, just like if, obviously in the last time I went to North London, if Reece Nelson blazed it over the bar, there's not as much about us going deep, and that's what it is. But I think Gary said it after the game. You can't keep throwing it away. We deserved the break, and Gary deserved it as much as the players, and we did, and we definitely deserved one of them, mate.
They did score, but it went to VAR. That was the one that Richarlison kind of looped over the disallowed one. Yeah. What was that? Was that because of an offside in the first moment?
Danjuma.
Yeah.
Danjuma was offside in the build-up to the goal.
So villain then hero, because then he does score. And a lot of people are still debating this one. What do you think? I mean,
what if it was offside?
I'm not sure I understand offside anymore.
No, I don't understand offside. I always go with the camp of, if it was against us, would I be annoyed? And I would have been annoyed had that been smashed by Tavernier and it had been disallowed because Solanke was stood where Kane was. So you've got to be fair. Having knocked the ref before, I think you got to be fair, and I would have been annoyed had that goal not stood for us.
Yeah, like Warren Cummings said that there was no chance of the keeper probably getting there anyway, so it didn't really
he hit it like a bullet. So if you're in the ground, you don't see it on the telly, but in the ground, he smashed that.
Yeah. And it took a little rick.
So does the touch off Jack Stevens mean anything?
I don't think it does, because I think it's just when he hits the ball, and I think it was just all down to whether they thought Kane was interfering. I think. And like Neil said, I think. Yeah, it's one of them you think, on another day that would probably be offside because we don't know what the bloody rules are these days. They seem to make it up as they go along. But if you get Kane and just chuck him away and he's not there, does he save it? No. He doesn't save it anyway. In my opinion, I don't think Neto saves it.
No.
If Kane's there or not. So it's still going to be a goal. So as Neil said, I'd have been annoyed. I mean, maybe if we draw that game 2-2, I'm saying that should be disallowed. But that's what I'm going to say for now, mate. I'm more than happy for that to be counted.
How did you feel after that? I mean...
you've got to take it in the context of the whole game, haven't you? So, because it's really important when we get around to talking about the euphoria at the end. The euphoria came because of that moment, because we were hanging on, and then we were all absolutely flattened because the team deserved it. They 100% deserved it, because it wasn't like some of these games where we got and had 20% possession and broke away twice.
A bit more like the Arsenal one, where I felt it was coming, and
it was
they were always.
We only had 20% possession against Arsenal, didn't we? We had 55 in the first half against Spurs. So I just think, we really earned it, and I felt so gutted for the players.
Yeah. Exactly the same. It was finally one where I felt, we really didn't. It wasn't like we've gone, that was bloody coming on it. We couldn't hang on. It was, I felt so bad for him because I thought we've earned this today.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. And then I just thought, oh my god, we've got a bit of time left. We've got to hang on for a draw now. Yeah. We're going to lose it.
North London, 6 minutes,
2-all.
Yeah,
I thought I would have taken a draw at that time. 100%.
And that header, that header that came in from Richarlison.
Get me out. I just wanted to get out of the point. Yeah, that's what we say about that's why there was so much euphoria, mate. Because all of us would have taken a point. I think all the players would have taken a point. I think even Gary Neal briefly said in this thing, he goes, and then you just think, hang on for a point, and so
I thought to myself, surely this can't happen again, but it nearly did with Richarlison.
It did.
I don't know whether he saw it late or what.
Well, I was saying, I didn't realise. I remember them just missing a chance, but I didn't realise till watching it back, he should score, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He should score.
I was right in line with it, and I was convinced it was flying in. And I think we were really fortunate it was Richarlison. Because had that been Kane or Højbjerg or a centre-back, that was nestling top corner, and we were all moaning about bringing Senesi on and going 5 at the back. So it's...
another set piece, yeah.
It was absolutely nail-biting.
But there's times when, obviously, like you say, that could easily go in, but it was a game where I thought, no, we've earned that luck today. Do you know what I mean? I thought we've earned them to miss that chance. You know, there's been times where you think it's coming, but we deserve that rubber to green. I felt at the time.
Yeah, we did.
We
it would
really
have been
did.
absolutely devastating for the players that they'd lost that one, because they had, it wasn't like Arsenal where we had 20% possession. We had
No, exactly.
55% possession first half. We really deserved not to come away from that game with 0 points.
Yeah,
but
100%.
I mean, so 1 point's pretty good.
Yeah, take it, get out. Yeah.
3. I mean, you know what I said on either fan cams or said to you off air that goal reminded me of 2 goals combined. Firstly, Nottingham Forest away, hoofed ball up the right hand side, Dom Solanke chasing down a defender and squaring it to someone, and then the finish, Mark Pugh. I mean, oh my God, absolute scenes. I've never known any. I lost my head, and if anyone's seen the vlog, I did this against Forest at home.
You look in
celebrate
pain.
hard. I look in pain.
You look in pain.
I think if I was tasered, I would deal with it better. Genuinely, I think I would look more calm. But Neil, I think you were saying that Louis ended up 5 rows in front or behind.
I ended up 5 rows in front of where I was supposed to be, and I turned around and my lad was like randomly hugging 2 complete strangers,
That's what it's all about,
and just the whole end went absolutely ballistic. I can't remember a celebration like that for a Bournemouth goal, because it was just because we just had the equaliser against us, so it wasn't like a 0-0 where you grab a winner, which is brilliant. But because we'd had that roller coaster of we're winning, we're drawing, Richarlison nearly scoring, and then that coming out of nowhere, that's why we go, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so many things combined, like playing Spurs, huge size, scoring in the last minute, have it being in a position of adversity where we're still tipped for relegation, probably.
Yeah. Everything.
And then that moment has just tipped the balance now, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're behind that goal, the away end, but everything was right. I just wish that Dangoed had ran the other way.
What a poor...
And he had done a better knee slide. The worst knee slide I've ever seen.
I know. I know. He headed off towards the Spurs.
Yeah.
There's a man scored his first goal,
Definitely.
and not having planned in his head how he was going to celebrate, and headed off towards the Spurs fans.
That was a poor knee slide.
Yeah, he could have come over. I did notice there's a few good celebrations. Lerma comes over and jumps over.
The Lerma one is absolutely brilliant, and also how quick must Kelly have been, because the first person to hug him on the ground was Lloyd Kelly, and I was thinking, well, Lloyd Kelly must have been at centre back.
Yeah, he's quick, isn't he? He's got some legs in him still. Yeah.
So how he got to him first, and then Lerma comes flying in like he's going over the trenches.
And then you see Jack Stevens leave him and just run up to us on his own, just going like that. It was brilliant, but it was just unbelievable. Because I'm a dickhead. I'm watching Solanke plays it to Ouattara.
You didn't watch?
And I just turned around and went like, please. Like, I didn't watch it, go in, and just waited, and then just saw everyone erupt.
What is your watch goals to goals ratio this season?
Any goals, yeah, I'm a knobber. The person sits behind me in the North Stand, I had a season ticket there for years. Every time we get a penalty, he goes, "This is the only time I see you," because I just turn around and look at him because I can't watch. So yeah, I'm an idiot. But it was amazing, mate. It was absolutely amazing. And like Neil said, I can't remember celebrating a goal like that, and it was just, it was crazy.
The Mark Pugh thing was incredible as well, because it was London.
Yeah.
It was sunny
day,
and the fans were in the exact same position as in relation to the goal scorer as he was,
And it was a goal that put us 3-2 up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we went 4-2 and then 4-3 against West Ham. Yeah.
Fair play to Ouattara, though, because he's not a man that you would associate with the word composure, is he, so far?
No.
So he's had some really good opportunities and sort of thumped him into Rosette. But that was the finish of a man that had worked out what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he's left-footed.
And he's pretty both-footed, I think.
I would have thought so.
That was superb.
Really
superb.
I honestly don't think... I mean, I don't know, because there's obviously centre-half stuff on the pitch, but I certainly wouldn't have picked him for what I wanted it to come to. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I did not want it...
Like Phil or someone.
Yeah, when I saw it a bit Dangoed, I thought, he's just going to smash this or something. I mean, really good composure to cut back in, but it was just, it's amazing. I've watched that goal too many times, honestly. I want to watch it again now. Can we wrap this up?
Yeah, like I said, I've seen all the different I've listened to all the different commentaries.
Yeah.
Gary Taphouse on the World feed seems particularly animated as well, because he does most of the Bournemouth commentaries. He lives in Bournemouth.
Yes.
So I think for him, we've had him on before on one of our chats, and I think for him, he loves travelling to the Vitality because it means he can get home to Red Hill in like literally 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think he wants us in the Premier League. So he sounded particularly excited as well. Chris Temple sounded excited. Listened back to the Sonic commentary. Didn't realise it went to VAR.
Oh,
I didn't have a clue at the time inside the stadium, but
Slanky's nudge,
there's
apparently.
a VAR. Yeah, was that what it was? The nudge.
I didn't know.
I'm so glad I didn't know. I'm so glad I didn't know.
I don't think it showed
they
it on
put it
TV.
on the screen.
No, it didn't show,
right.
but I think it was possibly just a normal VAR check. But he got notification that there's a VAR check.
Yeah, Temple did.
Which kind of
they were still on the floor like when it was given.
Yeah,
because he goes, oh, it's fine. I think they just quickly checked to see that Dom didn't push him in the back or something, but he didn't.
Well, they've had a radar signal that it was a game that Harry Kane was involved in, wouldn't they?
Of course, yeah.
And they thought, right,
exactly.
he'll be heading to the ref, so we need to get this sorted before he gets there.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, imagine if that had gone. We'd have waited. At least we didn't have that. But,
imagine if that had been disallowed.
Oh, don't. I would have gone and get me relegated if that got this.
And what's quite nice about scoring late like that is you almost have two celebrations when it's full time as well.
Yeah. You never stand the corner. Yeah.
Shirt off at full time.
Yeah, I did lose that. Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but I did it.
I was finding like glasses on the floor in front of me. I was finding stuff like strewn everywhere, but fans were absolutely delighted, and it was quite nice where I was because I could see the fans leaning over the tier just above us, and there was a Spurs fan absolutely giving it to Bournemouth at 2-2, which kind of shows you how far they've dropped when they're lording it up over us after a 2-2 against Bournemouth when they still could have won it. But it was nice to give a bit back, but obviously he'd gone back to his seat. So
yeah, he'd gone charged. They are in a pretty bad place, and credit to us for just taking a bit like the Leicester game. Not in a good spot at the moment, are they? Tottenham, obviously, other end of the table. But they're not. It's not a feel good around the place. So that's when you go and go, look, they're not in a good place here. Let's go and take advantage of that. And we did.
It's interesting though, because they are and they're not. I know we're not here to talk about Spurs, but they're only.
I know they're in the top
only
four
a few points
contention.
off Champions League. They're having a way better season than Chelsea and Liverpool, who are 2 yardstick clubs for them. So the way they were talking at the train station, it was like they were 10th or something.
I think it goes back, doesn't it? Because they all love Poch, and I think they've gone, okay, we understand it because we're going Mourinho, now we're going Conte because we're suddenly going to win something, and because they haven't, they're going, we might as well bloody kept Poch then. Because they haven't really evolved.
Yeah, no. So, and their football was awful.
It is bad.
Letting Bournemouth have all the ball against you at home when you're Spurs.
Yeah, that's.
Don't get that.
I mean, there's something wrong then if they're going for all these managers and they're not getting a tune out of them through the players. So I don't know. There's something. Who was your man of the match?
I mean, you've got to give it to Dom, I think, because of 2 assists and a goal. I thought it was brilliant. Definitely got a shout out like we briefly did Rothwell. But no, I think I probably would go Dom. Like I say, I think everyone was good. I mean, we're not gonna because we're obviously talking about goals and stuff, but we defended pretty well on the whole. Neto was fine. Thought everyone was good. But
I mean, Dom for me and Rothwell second. So I completely agree. I think another shout out for Kelly because
Kelly's a great shout.
I thought he was outstanding.
Wasn't his defending superb?
His defending was
where
excellent.
He held off. I think he just ushered out of play, but he was going so slow the ball, but he just managed to use his body. And
he was there because he's another player that the fans are going to stick to.
Yes.
That shouldn't have had it, and he was excellent.
If you ever want to talk about kind of confidence with footballers, when he was getting that stick and he just come back into the team, he just didn't look right. And now he's like kind of the shackles. Maybe it's a really wise decision, I don't know, but obviously we gave the captaincy to Neto, kind of take that responsibility off him, take him out of the team a little bit, bring him back in at left back. We start getting a few good wins, and now he just looks like he's back. And he's back to what? Because we all know there's a player there. I thought he was. Yeah, that was a good shout. He was exceptional.
Yeah, he was the who scored man of the match as well with 8.6. So yeah, brilliant. Enjoyed that, and then so I suppose from that, like wider conversations are starting to happen now. Like people saying, should you? Well, exactly. Like, should we be apologising to Gary O'Neill for the stuff that's been said? And we were right all along. A lot of people love to say, "I told you so."
They do.
They love to say it rather than enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
they would rather say that before enjoy the moment.
Go on now.
So my view is, I never really thought that this team was that bad. If you actually look at us pound for pound, we've got a more expensive squad than Brighton and Brentford. We've got, unlike Forest, who've had to sort of assemble a gang of mercenaries at short notice. We've got a significant amount of players that have played well in the Premier League for us. All right, they got relegated, but in seasons prior to that, they played well. We've got people like Jack Stevens who's played well in the Premier League for other clubs. So. Did I think we were going to be mid-table? No, but I didn't really think we were ever going to go down. So I think unless Gary O'Neill is a miracle worker, which I don't think any of us agree that he is, we are now seeing what we all knew that this side could have if they were allowed to attack and they weren't just sat back like Scott Parker had them sitting back and like Gary O'Neill did for his first sort of like 15 odd games. So to me, I don't owe anyone really an apology, but what you can say is he's now performing the way the team should perform, so credit to him for that. But I don't think we need to apologise to him personally.
I think, and credit to him for not being too stubborn to not change a little bit, because I think he has, like you say, I think he has let the shackles off a little bit, which has definitely helped. Because at the end of the day, when we were doing this thing, we were all going, why are we just sat so deep? We've got the players, and it feels like now we're kind of going, you know what? It almost felt like that Fulham game where we were awful in the first half, and then second half we just kind of went for them. It almost felt like that was a little bit of a moment where we thought, oh, hang on a minute, and now Tav's back and Dom's back, and we can just take games teams. Because like Neil said, we've got a bloody good squad. I think I said it off air. There's people that struggle to make our bench that would start for a lot of teams in relegation scraps. Teams in relegation scraps would love, like if they played a certain system, love a Kiefer Moore to bring on. We don't even bring him on because we don't need to. We've got a really good squad, and I think this kind of narrative with a lot of pundits and media that clearly don't do their research or watch Bournemouth. They only watch them when we beat a big side like a Liverpool or Tottenham, and say we've been positive front foot all season. Obviously don't watch us because they talk about us like we're some sort of charity case, and it's an absolute miracle. It's a miracle because they've got such a small stadium. It's a miracle for Bournemouth to stay up. We're not what we used to be. We have got, I think we spent the third most in January, but we're definitely top 5 in January. So we are little old Bournemouth, but we have got a squad of players that I think, we 14th now? Yeah. I think that's about right. I think for our squad, I think 14th's about right.
And we're littered with internationals. And you think about the last time we came up, we had Marta Boric. I can't remember who else was a full international. And now we've got players like Lewis Cook on the bench, international. Ouattara came on and scored international. And so I don't get it. I don't get why there was such a feeling that we were. It's a miracle that we're in this league. Yeah. I think we are now seeing our current. I think our rightful position is somewhere between mid-table and bottom.
I totally agree. You think back to January when everyone was talking. I know he's had his injuries, by the way, and he will end up being a good player, I'm sure. But everyone was talking about how have Bournemouth got Zabani? Like he's this really highly rated player who's had so many caps for Ukraine at such a young age. You'd probably argue now he's our 5th choice centre half. Do you know what I mean? Like that's he can't get in the team. Yeah. He's got no chance of getting it. It doesn't matter if he's fit or not. He can't get in over the other players. So we've got some really, really good players. So yes, credit to Gary for I think tweaking a few bits, changing a little bit, letting them play a little bit more. You could see you've only got to look at what a player like Phil Billen and just see that he's let him off. The amount of times he was so deep in games, and now he's up there with Dom supporting him, and really good. And I do think that obviously getting some, I think Tavernier's been massive getting him back. We bloody missed him when he was out. So it's I don't think I'm exactly the same as Neil. I don't think it's a sorry. I think we're doing what I think this group should be able to do now. So and it's really good to see. I'm just glad we're doing it in time. We haven't left ourselves too late.
We asked a few questions on Twitter. What's the reason for our turnaround? A lot of people referring to the players coming back for injury. Is Gary O'Neill coming of age? Also, thoughts on the media purring over AFC Bournemouth, and also what should the points target be? In terms of the media purring over us, you mentioned last week about Stephen Warnock, and even Sam Matterface on TalkSport said it now.
Danny Murphy's done it.
Danny Murphy.
I saw Gary Neville do it.
Gary Neville on his podcast, and also we got a good. I mean, it was from Jermaine Jealous on Match of the Day. I thought it was a good sort of analysis of where we were at within that game, but to sort of. Some people are suggesting Gary Neville should be up for manager of the season and stuff.
Well, that's what
a bit premature.
Well, that's what Gary Neville said in his podcast. He said if he keeps, this is what I go back to is this thing of because it's Bournemouth. If he keeps Bournemouth up, he should be manager of the season because it's Bournemouth. Why? We spent loads of money in January. Got a really good squad.
He's an underdog manager as well.
Yeah, and I know, and these type of people, no disrespect, people like Gary Neville and stuff, they're a similar age and they've all probably done coaching badges with him and stuff, and they're probably really pleased to see him do well, which is great. And obviously he worked with Liverpool for a bit, didn't he? So there's the Carragher thing. But I think it's more, I wish we just got credit on them performances. It's what annoys me, I think, is these the people that don't do the research, and then I think Alex Crook's done a few things on TalkSport, and it's that kind of disrespect to fans like ourselves that go every week and they say, fans that were disappointed and giving Gary no stick should give their heads a wobble.
Yeah, that's the phrase. Isn't
because we've done, we're on good form and we're doing really well. That's really good. But have you seen the run after the World Cup break? Yeah. It's mental to think everyone would be happy. It's probably one of the worst runs you've ever seen. It was awful. We didn't score a goal in
and
about.
We were playing some sides which at the time, I mean, Chelsea are trash.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and we just bent over.
Palace at home. Palace at the time. This was obviously pre-Hodgson. I mean, Palace at home was just woeful. So I mean, people can only react to what they see at the time in front of them. Yeah. And it's very easy with hindsight to look back and say what some of these people are saying. But we sat through the stadium through endless games where we made the wrong substitutions, we had the wrong formations. That's what Gary O'Neill was being judged on at the time, because we could all see that the players were as good as we're now seeing.
Yes.
Yeah. Same group of players. So
perhaps it's just finally clicking. And
for him, to be fair to him, the lad had managed as many Premier League games as we had when he started. So, and he is learning all the time.
It seems like the squad's united, and there don't seem to be any.
They seem to like him.
Yeah, I think from day one of Gary coming in, I've never felt that the players aren't playing for him, any of that. I've always felt there's togetherness. I've always felt he's got that. He seems to get that, and that seems to be going really well. But as Neil said, he is learning on the job. It was never his fault that he can't turn it down. He couldn't believe it when he got the job. And I mean, fair play to him for taking it. But he shouldn't, for him to get a Premier League job, you knew he was going to be learning. He had to learn on the job. Yeah. And fortunately, he looks like he's doing it, and credit to him for that. But there was a spell where it just wasn't right, and it seems to be.
And it will be far more unusual if he works out than if he doesn't. So if you think about the guy I always think of is Gary Monk. So if you think Gary Monk had that season where he took over, kept Swansea up,
that's right.
And then the following year they were they were poor because he couldn't move on and adapt. The game's littered with caretakers that have done well, been given the job and haven't got it. So if he does triumph next, keeps the job, because I'm not even convinced if we stay up whether he'll keep the job.
Well, that's the question I was going to ask next, because for me that performance has put some credit in the bank, so to speak. I think I said previously that players don't seem to get that much because there are always alternatives. You can play another player, whereas you can't just have another manager for a game. So I think Eddie Howe obviously built up credit in the bank. So when he did lose 4 in a row, we thought, well, it's Eddie. Like, we know he'll come good. And,
we know he's a good coach.
Hopefully, more showings like that will help to prove a large chunk of fans wrong. But I'm starting to wonder now, like, maybe he will keep his job, because I thought, I was in the same camp as you. Like,
if we just got over the line,
if we just got over the line properly, because at the end of the day, 18-month contract, he'd have a year left. He's a fairly cheap disposal, really.
Yeah, cheap disposal. And there must have been a reason why they gave him an 18-month contract as well.
Yeah, but I'm starting to think maybe they'll go for it, and then maybe like in their heads they'll have a target, like by Christmas we want to have a certain amount of points, and if not, they've only got to pay him off for 6 months. I'm sorry for having these like very negative conversations
after the Spurs win.
Yeah, Spurs win. But I'm just trying to think ahead here of what they may be thinking. I mean, do you think if we keep on putting in performances like that, he's earned his right to keep his job? That sounds mad, me saying that, but that's the conversations we're having.
Yeah, so I would say if we carry on with the way that we're playing and we nail another 4 wins or out of 7 towards the end of the season, why wouldn't you let him start next season?
Because it's obviously clicking.
Because it's working, and presumably we'll have more players. So clearly, we're going to have to go out and get 2 fullbacks, and there's a number of positions. So that'll only strengthen the side. And so why wouldn't you? But,
you just got to go off. Yeah, exactly, and we'll see. But the only reason we're asking these questions is because, like you say, he got that contract 18 months. They obviously have got that in the back of their head. They must do, because otherwise you give them a longer contract. Yeah. So they're obviously thinking, maybe we'll look again at the end of the season, regardless of where we are, and we'll have a little look. But if the trajectory is going up like it is, and at the end of the season we end up, like Neil said, 4 or 5 more wins, then you just stick with that, don't you? And you keep riding it.
And we're not being negative by having these conversations, but for the last 2 months, our only consistency has been our inconsistency.
Yeah, of course. And it's the first time I got back to
it seems like we've turned a corner. So AFCB Z on Twitter, I'm turning all American, or Bill Foley. AFCB Z on Twitter. Gary finally has had a fully fit squad at his disposal, and is clearly developing into a better manager game by game. He's learning from his previous blunders. Gary 3 months ago bottles that Spurs game. Now he wins it. Would love to see him stay next season. 40 points is what I want. And a lot of people, we also ask the question, how many points now do you want?
I mean, I want.
So obviously you want as many we can get.
Yeah, what the needs different.
Would you be all right with that?
Yeah, because that keeps you up.
I think we'll get 42, because I think we'll win 3 out of West. So if you look at the fixtures we've got coming up, you've got West Ham, Southampton, Leeds, that pivotal week. You've got Palace,
Chelsea.
You've got Chelsea at home,
United and Everton.
United, who are, can hit and miss at home, and Everton away. So I think there's 3 wins there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so that's 42 points.
Layla said, I think the mentality of not only the players but the coaching staff and the manager but also the fans have changed and it's pouring onto the pitch. There's a real belief and togetherness now that we can stay up and actually go for teams and prove every single person who doubted us wrong. Aaron K, hi Aaron, he said, Joe Rothwell for me has been a huge influence, and I'll pose this next question to you. It allows Billing to play number 10 role, plus he has drive and the ability to pass incisively and relentless energy, which is what you said earlier. It begs the question where Traore fits into this.
That's true. Well, I think it's another talented, good young footballer that's part of the squad. Really, I mean, I know he's played kind of in that 10 role, but he's also played a lot off the left, hasn't he, in his in previous, and even a bit deeper. I think he's one of them players that is versatile. But it's like everything. I think I said it on last week's show. I thought, after January, I thought, Christie's done, and then he's proven. Now he's gone. He's got the shirt for a game, and he won't let it go.
Yeah.
So Traore's obviously had his kind of niggles and stuff since he's come in. Because there was one game, I can't remember which, it might have been Brighton, where I thought, God, he's a player. I thought and then there was a few games I thought, he doesn't look right. So I think he's just getting. I mean, I didn't think Vina. I thought, we're never going to see Vina. Do you know what I mean? So it's all going to. It wouldn't shock me.
We might not see him again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if Traore comes in for a game and is brilliant, and we think, he's got to start. I think he's going to be part of a squad where he can fill in a lot of them kind of front four positions. So, and that's what you got to have. You got to have a bit of depth.
If we revert to 4 at the back in the next game, who's our back 4?
Yeah, difficult, isn't it? I think Vina comes out next game, I honestly do.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because I think he done it for this game. He obviously took it. It's easy to leave someone out when they've just got a little knock as well. He had to come off injured.
We want to see more of him to see whether.
Yeah, I mean, you want him in. If he attacks like that, then you want him in dovetailing with someone in front of him.
Yeah.
And I would play Kelly and Stevens probably on current form, which would be harsh on Mepham, but if my first choice back 4, if Vina is fit, it would be good to see him play again. So I'd have Vina, Kelly, Stevens, and Smith.
Yeah,
Meps feels like such an unlucky club footballer.
Yeah.
Because he does nothing wrong.
Comes in, never lets you down, and then comes out because of. And that's Stevens only come in because Mepham got a knock once, and then Stevens like I said about Christie, Stevens then never let the shirt go. I never thought we'd see Jack Stevens. No. So
No, it took us a long time to see him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. So
in fact, that's like the story of this season. It's a long time to see people, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we've got to try and make a judgment on them because I wasn't at Brighton. I can't remember seeing Traore play well.
Brighton away, I just felt
he was good. Didn't he create the chance for Lerma that he should have scored?
And that one first Semenyo burst through, and he was kind of driving from the midfield, and he just looked like he had something. Yeah,
just seems to get knocked off the ball really easily for me.
Yeah, it probably looks a little bit like. But again, all these discussions that we're having is because Gary O'Neill's got all these problems because he's got so much to pick from. Got a great squad.
Yes. James said, I don't think it's a coincidence that our form has changed around since Neto has become our club captain. Since Brighton away, and in most of those games, we look more organised and composed than when we did when Kelly was captain. I think the leadership and experience shows.
I think he's helped.
Yeah, and it probably helps Kelly play his game because there's often a view in football, isn't it, that some players find it hard to play well and be a captain, and if you then have a bad game, it weighs doubly heavy on you. And other people are born to be a captain. Lloyd Kelly doesn't strike me as a born captain in the way of a Tommy Elphick or a Steve Cook or players like that. I think he's an excellent defender. I don't know if he's a born captain. So it might have helped him play himself back into form as well, not having the responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was it was last season when he was captain, but a lot of the time he was playing next to Gary Cahill, and you've got someone like him next year. I think that would have helped him as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's probably I think it's probably a good comparison with kind of how well Arsenal are doing and how good Xhaka is since the armband's gone off him. It sometimes does help, but equally I think Neto, with the languages, I've seen a lot about him speaking a lot of languages, and we brought in a lot of players with different languages in January. I think that helps, and I think he's been at Barcelona. He's Brazilian goalkeeper. I mean, he's obviously got experience. So I think just having him, nothing really against Travers, to be honest. I think just having that experience in there, regardless of whether he's got the armband or not, I think his experience has helped, definitely.
Do you know what I love about Neto? How happy he always is to see us.
Yeah, no, I agree with
it's
that.
It's only a little thing, and he's not cool at all like some footballers. He literally runs over, and then when he spots us, he does a really big, excited wave with both of his hands. My missus loves it. She goes, "Oh, there! He's so happy to see us. He's so happy to see us."
We just won 3-2. So obviously we still conceded 2 goals, by the way. We've got 3 goals. We've got 3 different goal scorers. Matara scored last minute. They come over, and one of the first things when all the players come over at the end was Neto, because he's kind of got that already, hasn't he? That little, got that rapport, he's got that fans' favourite kind of thing straight away.
Because he didn't really do that much.
No, he didn't really have anything really
He
to
had
do.
one save from
He tipped
Son,
one over the... Yeah.
but he didn't... There was no other saves
true, actually.
that a League One keeper wouldn't have made.
No.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a League One keeper probably would have saved the Son thing. But the fact that we've built this thing up with him, it's the wave.
Yeah. it's the
That's
way.
right.
Love that. Stephen Hill suggested that you're right earlier when you said it is fine margins, and with 10 minutes left, we bought on Senesi for Billing. It could have been a different conversation.
Good off.
Also, James said Gary O'Neill shut a lot of people up. There were no obvious other candidates than him. The players are giving it their all for him. More than could be said in Eddie's last 6 months when the tools got downed. Oof, bit harsh.
He hasn't shut me up. We've been on for an hour.
Heather, this is one I was going to pose to you last week, actually. Probably it's more pertinent last week when Dom didn't score, but I still have the question, should we swap Dom and Phil over and see how that works?
I think Dom could definitely do the...
Dom plays that role almost.
I think Dom could definitely do the Billing role, actually, if we had a proper... I don't think Billing could do the Dom role.
No.
Billing's not a striker. He's very good at popping up in them areas, isn't he? But
and also Billing has publicly said that he doesn't really want to head the ball much. Which obviously...
yes, not ideal. I certainly think if you got a... Dom has to play, in my opinion. He's that good.
Yeah.
But if you got a striker that, say when he was injured, when Semenyo come in, he scored 5 in 3 games or something, I think Dom could play off him.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a little spell when Eddie first brought him in where he was trying to play him off Callum for a bit and off Josh King, because I think Dom has got that work rate to be able to play maybe a 10 role. But
I can't believe Billy said that thing for one reason only. In that it always gives me great joy when you see a manager who's clearly not done his homework stick his best header of a ball on Billing at a set piece.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll see them think, Christ, look at that bloke, he's 6'6". They go get their 6'4" centre half, stick him on, and that's what creates a space sometimes for other people to have a chance. Because you might as well stick someone 5'6" on Phil Billing for his love of attacking a ball in the air. But yeah, so I was surprised when he said that. So I've got a question for you guys: is that our best ever?
What, away day?
Away day.
Oh God.
Premier League,
It probably is,
because I think it's
just the experience.
Yeah, it's always difficult because of the larger kind of like Charlton, like because we got promoted to we won we were the champions and all that stuff. I think Premier League, I'm thinking it could be. The Glenmurray one was brilliant, 1-0, but we looked, didn't we? And it's nowhere near as late as I thought. It was like 82 minutes or something, and it's 0-0. So it just felt. I think it's more. It's at that time we were like first season of the Premier League, but I think for actual kind of that moment of the goal going in, I don't think I've felt in a way
More than the 4-3 at West Ham.
Yeah,
It wasn't last minute though.
yeah, we were 4-2 up, and they scored last minute.
It was a combination of factors for me: the size of the crowd, the nature of the opposition, the fact that we were about to potentially be relegated, the fact that we nearly threw it away, and the fact that it was a 95th or 96th minute.
And also it being Dangoed as well. Also,
his first goal.
I don't know why,
Well, it will always be. Everyone will always remember his first goal for Bournemouth. However, whether he's brilliant for us or a flop,
it's just a knee slide.
Just needs to work on the knee slide. That's something. That was a letdown, wasn't it? But no,
the only other game I remember where it was almost like the goal happened, then the final whistle was Steve Cook at Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
Which was another limbs moment, but again, there weren't many of us there, and it was
and they were crap.
They were crap, and it didn't have quite the same impact. But yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. Yeah, it could well be. Yeah, it's got to be. Isn't it?
Next 3 games then.
9 points.
What are we thinking?
We'll be above Chelsea within 3 games.
Well, didn't you say we're as close to Chelsea as we are to relegation?
Yeah, 9 points. 6 points. Sorry. What am I thinking? I think West Ham will be tough. I think what will be interesting is West Ham have got a big game on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Against. I think that'll be tough. I think we do this all the time. That we go, well, we've beaten Liverpool, so we'll beat West Ham at home. I think it'll be a difficult game because it'll be a completely different game.
Yeah.
I hate going to Southampton because we rarely ever do anything there. But I think if we obviously I want to win them, but I think if we avoid defeat in the next 3, so worst case like 3 draws, I think because then none of them are gaining any ground with us. I think we've done it.
That'll do.
So I think, if we can go and... if we play like that, we'll beat West Ham. I don't think West Ham are any good, really. I mean, they've done... It'll all depend, because regardless of how they do on Thursday, that'll take a lot out of them. And because they drew the first leg, they've got to go as strong as they can. They've got to
go for it. But they're not as bad as... They're one of those teams that are in a false position, I think.
They've got some good players still.
They've got some good players. And I think, have they only lost 1 in 8?
Yeah, they've got a decent little...
Did I see that recently?
Well, yeah, because the form, you were surprised at
how good it was,
Table, it's probably even higher
I thought I heard they lost 1 in 8. So I think Southampton Leeds offer better prospects.
Yeah.
Let's put them 2 down.
Oh no, sorry, Saints is away. Isn't
Oh, let's put the Saints,
We'll
Leeds,
make
and
it our
Forest. Please put them 3 down.
Yeah.
I'll be
You
unbearable.
never know. Well, gents, we've gone over an hour. Wow, that flew by. It's
We
been
won a game, didn't we?
Tom, it's been a pleasure.
It has been wonderful, Sam.
Neil, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Brilliant to have you on. And thank you to the people that have donated as well via our Ko-fi link. We said it on the vlog, and there's been some new monthlies coming through and just some one-offs as well. And that's honestly superb. We've got a link just below if you want to contribute to the channel. We truly appreciate it because it costs a lot to run this channel. So yeah, really appreciate your support. And me and Tom, we got a couple of away day videos coming out this week where we review Spurs,
and the Leicester
which is top notch, and also Leicester as well. So keep your eyes peeled for those, and then we're into preview stuff as we go towards West Ham next Sunday. Looking forward to it, gents. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Cherries.
Cherries.
See you in the next
Cheerio.
one.